thing I want to talk about today, and the thing that I've been thinking about this morning, is the responsibility of the author, the writer. And not only his responsibility, but what makes a writer an excellent writer. And you see, I think that the writer must be intelligent, adroit, cunning, vehement, courageous, succinct, compendious. He must be all these things. He must be surreptitious in a way where he can sit next to you, right by your side, in a way that is not even noticeable. A great writer must have a rhythm, a poetic rhythm. He must have his own philosophy. He must be musical. He must be a composer. And you see, all of these things, in my opinion at least, make a good writer. You see, in order to write in a way which, from my point of view, is excellent, is to be possessed with all of these things, to have all of these proclivities, propensities, and idiosyncrasies. You see, the writer must be esoteric. He must be his own person. He must have his own style. And you see, this is what builds excellence. And although I have used a multitude of synonyms to describe what I think excellence is in the realm of literature, even my presuppositions are not adequate. You see, who am I to say what is brilliance and what is excellent? Although I think that there is certainly a framework that can be used to generate excellence in the realm of literature. And you see, a good writer must be all of these things that I've mentioned previously, but also he must be a voracious reader. He must be possessed with a scrupulous attitude, and he must have a willingness to learn from other writers. He must be obsessed with the art, and he must feel his passion through his words. And you see, I believe if you become obsessed with your art form, and in our particular case, with writing, although it could be anything else, but you see, if you become obsessed, then I believe people will be able to feel that obsession through your art, in the way you express yourselves. This I believe. And you see, in order to develop this sort of excellence, and something I like to talk a lot about is striving for excellence. You see, this takes an enormous amount of discipline. Excellence requires discipline. Discipline is a prerequisite to excellence. So the writer, the author, he must be disciplined, and he must be obsessed, and he must continuously work at his craft, day in and day out, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the emotions that he is feeling, regardless of the things that are going on around him. He must make his art his most important purpose, and he must put it above everything else in his life. And these are the sacrifices that the artist must make if he wishes to choose or wishes to achieve excellence. You see, excellence requires a tremendous amount of sacrifice. And you must be willing to sacrifice things that other people have in order to achieve excellence. You see, most people are okay with, I hate to say, a mediocre life, but most people are okay with an ordinary life. I don't want to necessarily give it a negative connotation because I think that plenty of people live a normal life and are extremely happy. And this is totally fine. But you see, the artist and the person who wishes so deeply to achieve excellence and to master his craft, I think that he needs to make these necessary sacrifices. Because you see, if he does not make these necessary sacrifices so that he may subsequently achieve success and excellence in his craft, if he does not make these necessary sacrifices, then he will in fact be downtrodden. He will not be happy. You see, some people are okay with living a ordinary life, and this makes them extremely happy. But for the artist, this does not make him happy. So he must develop discipline and work day in and day out, scrupulously, so that he may achieve excellence, so that he may become happy and achieve or fulfill his truest destiny. And this doesn't necessarily mean that the person who is striving for excellence cannot have all of the things that somebody with an ordinary life has. Because you see, with the cultivation and development of discipline, you can figure out a way to balance your time to where you can achieve everything that you want to achieve on a day-to-day basis, and do so in orderly fashion. But you see, this takes time, this takes effort, and this takes consistency, and this takes developing a habit and mastering it, just as you master your craft. Because you see, discipline is extremely important. And you see, discipline gives you the ability to lead others, and to show them the way. This, I believe, is extremely important. Because without discipline, you cannot achieve anything. And all of this began when I began to think about what it means to become a great writer. In me being a writer, and being the person I am, and striving for excellence, day in and day out, so that you may feel the vehemence and the intensity in my words. So you may feel the beauty, the sadness, the melancholy. So you may feel a wide array of emotions when you read my stuff. This I strive for, because I'm striving for excellence. And this takes obsession, as I have previously stated. Obsession leads to excellence. Scrupulous effort leads to excellence. And discipline is the necessary prerequisite for all of these things. You see, it's one thing to have a dream. Anybody can have a dream. But to achieve the dream, no. This is a completely different story entirely. Because you see, there are plenty of people who have dreams. But just because you have a dream, this does not mean that you are going to achieve it, or that it should be given to you. You see, a dream must be manifested. And through the cultivation of more consciousness, and the manifestation of your divine will, you can, in fact, materialize your wishes into reality. But this takes discipline, which most people do not have, or which most people do not have the mental capacity to be able to develop. But this is important, especially if you would like to achieve your dream. And as I have said, your dream is not going to be given to you, and it shouldn't be. You should work for it, so that you can appreciate it and cherish it once you have achieved it, once you have achieved excellence through your own effort. And this can be applied not only to writing, in my particular case, because you see this is the thing that I focus on, but it can also be applied to anything else in your life, regardless of what it is. No matter what your wish is, what your dream is, what you think your destiny is, you can apply these principles to your life. And I promise you, with effort and with time, you will in fact prevail and come out on the top successful. But you see, you must never give up. You must continually prevail and persist. This is important, and this takes discipline. So I think the fundamental lesson here, and what I'm trying to say is, that in order to become great and to achieve excellence, to become the best leader possible and to guide others, is to develop a tremendous amount of discipline. And to be consistent with this discipline day in and day out, because you see, this is what, in fact, discipline is. Consistency.